everyone, welcome to Young Innovators. In our previous video, we had learnt about circuits, its types, and how the intensity of the LED bulbs in the circuit can be varied with the help of voltage. Since we had used two bulbs in the circuit, the connection was simple and easy. But when we have many devices and many components to be connected, it will be difficult for us to make the connection. Hence, in such cases, we can choose a simple component which has all the connections integrated within. One such example is a breadboard. A breadboard is a connection base for prototyping of electronics. It was invented in the year 1971. Initially, in the early 1970s, people used wooden boards with springs to place components and make connections. Later, it was improvised to what we see today. It has n number of tiny holes and internal connections within it. Connections can be made both horizontally and vertically. So, this is how a breadboard looks, and if you turn it and see the internal connections at the bottom of the breadboard, we find the holes connected in horizontal and vertical way. The top and bottom parts of the breadboards are connected horizontally and referred as power leads or power terminals, where voltage sources or power sources can be connected. At the center, the holes are connected vertically to place and connect the components for the circuit as needed. The gap between the vertically connected holes are used to place the integrated circuit. There is a break between the two vertical connections. They are available in different lengths and can be used based on the requirement. Depending on the length, we have a full-length breadboard, a half-length breadboard, and a mini breadboard. So now, let us build a circuit and see the connections with the breadboard on Tinkercad. Let's move to the Tinkercad workspace. All three types of breadboards are available in Tinkercad. Let us choose a small breadboard as it will be ideal for our purpose and place it on the workspace. Let us build a simple circuit for glowing a LED. For the circuit, we need a battery, an LED, and a resistor. We can choose a resistor of any value more than 320 ohms, and here I am choosing a 470 ohms resistor. We have all the components needed for the circuit. Now let's connect it with a breadboard. Here is the circuit diagram. Make a note of it and try the circuit on your own. Let us first connect the positive and negative terminals of the battery to the power leads or the terminals of the breadboard. Next, let us place the LED on the breadboard. Connect the resistor in such a way one end of the resistor is connected to the anode of the LED and the other end of the resistor to the positive terminal of the breadboard. Similarly, the negative terminal of the battery will be connected to the cathode terminal of the LED. Once completed, let's click on the start simulation. The LED glows, which means the circuit is complete with proper current flow and without any breaks. Now, let us introduce a switch to the same circuit. So here, I take a push button from the components and place it on the breadboard and connect the circuit as shown in the circuit diagram below. You can pause the video, copy the circuit, and try the same. A push button is a type of switch where current is passed only when we press the switch. So, a push button has 4 terminals, namely 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B, which are connected internally. To connect the push button in a circuit, we should connect the positive terminal of the battery to either 1A or 1B terminal and the resistor to either 2A or 2B terminal of the push button. Such a circuit works only on pressing the switch. The property of the push button is to work only when the button is pressed in the circuit. Now, we will look into another type of circuit where we replace the push button with a slide switch. A slide switch is a switch that conducts on the basis of the position of the knob when connected in a circuit. So here is the circuit diagram. Let's build a circuit and see. It is a 3-terminal switch where the middle terminal is a common terminal and the other 2 terminals are terminal 1 and terminal 2. And when needs to be connected in the circuit, we will use either the first 2 or the last 2 terminals in the switch. Let's place the slide switch and connect it in the circuit as shown. Now, on sliding the knob of the switch, we can control the light. Till now, we used only one switch in each circuit. Next, let us see the circuit with two switches. So, in our previous circuits, the output was solely dependent on one input. But when we have two inputs, the output of the circuit will be dependent on both the inputs and will be based on certain logic. These types of circuits are commonly referred as logic gates and are termed to be basic building blocks of circuits that take the value in only two levels, that is either high or low. Some common logic gates are AND gate and OR gate. We will consider two slide switch and an LED and a 1 kilo ohm resistor with a battery and a breadboard on the workspace of Tinkercad. We shall analyze and build the gates and check the output. The circuit diagram is as shown. Let's connect the switches in series as shown. And from switch B, we will connect it to the resistor and LED. From the other end of the LED, we will connect it back to the battery. In the same way, from switch A, we will connect it to the positive terminal of the battery. Circuit is complete. On clicking Start Simulation, observe that the output is seen only when both the switches are on. This tells us that the output is dependent on both the switches, and even if one switch is not working, the whole circuit will not work. This type of circuit is known as an AND gate circuit. You can check the output based on this table. Now let us see an OR gate circuit. The circuit diagram is here. Let us make the connection as seen. Let us connect both the switches of the circuit as shown and complete the circuit by giving it to the LED and battery. Now, if any one switch, that is either A or B, is on, the output will be seen, and when both the switches are on, then also the LED will light up. This tells us that the LED is not dependent on both the switches. So these were the two basic gates that we learnt, and with this we learnt about how the gates work and the dependency of the output on the input. Can you think and comment which type of circuit does the switch consist of in AND gate and OR gate? You can refer the previous video to get to know the answer. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you for watching.